So we spoke about rides before, and I remember you telling me,
ain't fucking with me when they got like money.
Real Florida shit, when you hit me,
I confidently can say I'm a barber.
So that we don't cheat on each other. I can't stand you.
And everybody still says it.
like every project I improve.
I got this record, and here's the story behind the fucking record.
Yeah, it's called Before I Jump.
Nigga, don't try with music to play on the radio.
Alright, bro. Finally we doing this. I probably first got acquainted to you maybe about a few months ago.
Yeah.
You came from a very high recommendation. Someone was speaking highly of you and told me to check out your music. And I heard it, and I had to sit with it. I'm not gonna lie, I had to sit with the project. It's definitely different. You definitely got your own definitely got your own lane, for sure. And I feel like in today's climate, that's very important. I feel like there are a lot of carbon copies. There are a lot of people trying to mimic what's hot right now. So for someone to have their own lane, to kind of go against the grain, so to speak, I feel like that speaks highly on your character. I feel like that speaks highly on how serious you take the music. And I feel like that speaks highly on the fact that you're not really afraid to take risks.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, man, introduce yourself. What's your name?
All right. I'm NumbYouNov. I'm from Hollywood, Florida. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, co-CEO, owner of the Village Recording Company, aka Village Records, and we out here in Miami. You know.
Beautiful view.
Yeah.
Let's jump straight into it, bro. So you had a project titled Self.
Yeah.
Dropped 2016.
Yeah.
Which is not that long ago, but it's kind
It's
of
a
long.
long time. They grow up fast, man.
And
They grow up fast.
I heard the project, and like I said, you definitely have a lane on your own. It's kind of a mix of R&B and rap in a way.
Yeah, like a transitional R&B, eclectic R&B. So that's like alternative rap for sure.
Why do you choose to do that type of R&B? That's not like the mainstream, you know?
Yeah. I'm always into fields. I always like want to be, I guess, not different but unique in the way that I convey things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the music is just different elements of mainstream or music that are artists that I like or music that I grew up listening to. So it's just the genre is just, or my music is just pieces of other artists into one, one melting pot basically of my inspiration. So.
Why do you, so the first project is Self, why did you choose to name it Self?
Man, that was a while ago. But to be honest, at that time though, like I said, it was like I did it like, it was just me and Aston Martin.
Right.
Shout out Aston Martin, my brother, producer, and co-owner of the Village.
Right.
And it was just us, it was just ourselves doing it, from writing it to him producing it, mixing it down. And at the time, like
that was your first project?
That was my first project, yeah. So at the time, we just dropped it. I didn't know anybody. Like, I didn't have any clout. So I just decided to name it Self, like, this is for me. And I dropped the album for me, and like you said, the way that it sounds and the way that it is, you could tell the album was for me and for us. It wasn't for anybody else in a sense. Like, I wasn't looking for, I wanted obviously people to enjoy the music, but I wasn't looking to fit in.
Right.
It was for us.
Me and you were kind of having a conversation off camera. You were telling me that at the time when you dropped the project, you had like 100 followers or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around like maybe like 100 and.
Pretty much, you had a little bit of.
I didn't exactly, and it's not like right now I'm just at the Garden right now, but. Yeah, it was a lot lower, so definitely the pool of dropping it to, of who I was dropping it to. Was a lot lower.
So this is my question to you though. Like nowadays, you get a lot of people. Actually, Illusion was talking about this the other day. It's like nowadays, people buy fake followers. They do these things for clout, quote unquote. They take pictures next to other people's cars, next to other rappers' bottles, and you know what I'm saying. They do all this shit. At the time, with you having such, a lot of people weren't that aware about you. Did you have any hesitation about dropping it, or you just didn't care?
I just didn't care because I believed in the project that much at the time, and that's like the honest to God. when I first dropped the project, man, I like shot it to people. Like I like put it in people's inboxes and stuff. And by the grace of God, people hit me back and was like, "Yo, this is fucking dope. This is fire as fuck." Like, wow. Yeah. So that kind of grew. That word of mouth grew, and then like, it wasn't short after that. But I actually dropped the project though. Shout out to Roxy. So I actually dropped the project with Roxy on her show that she used to do back in the day, a couple years ago, and we dropped it on the show. And like from there, but I still, shout out to people. And yeah, man, like just kind of word of mouth, man. I started seeing people really bumping it. I was going through like Snapchat, and I would just like see my song, and that was really big for me, man. Like I really felt like thankful for that, and just like humbled and excited, and just I felt like I was like Drizzy already. I felt like I'd already made it, man. It was just a beautiful time.
Okay, so you dropped the project. It starts getting critical reviews, right? A lot of people are starting to like it. You performed, right? You did a few shows, right?
Yeah, so we ended up getting booked for A3C in Atlanta, which was dope.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like the Florida rappers that were out there were kind of clouded out.
Yeah.
People don't really, at that time, like it was like just off like straight no cloud. Like, we were Florida rappers that like nobody even knew was out there.
Right.
We ended up doing, and then we did, one of my favorite ones was we did Sidebar Sessions.
Okay, so you dropped this project. Gets good reviews, get booked in A3C, you perform at Sidebar, which is a great showcase for artists. You start getting all this new attention, right? New attention, new fanfare. You're hitting your streak, per se, right? And then you kind of you went missing a little bit for like a year or so.
Yeah.
What exactly happened? Why did you
life, man. Life happened. Truth be honest, like we did the 1 year show,
right?
1 year anniversary for Self, and that was cool. And then just coming off that, man, life just kind of hit me, and it was like it was just one of those time periods where like I was creating music, but at the same time too, like I was trying to find another inspiration and another because when I was doing like Self, that project, it was a moment. Like albums are a moment. It was a different type of moment. It was a moment for me, and I just wasn't in that space anymore to do that.
So you kind of lost inspiration a little bit.
Not kind of in a sense too, but I also was like, there's more people in my circle now. There's more people in my ear now too about certain things and certain things I should be doing.
Right.
Certain things that I'm excited about, but then also certain things that are like turning me off about certain things.
Right.
So like, that kind of, I'm just I'm just trying to find my way now. Like at that time, it's like, man, okay, I want to make the next move the best move, and things like, so on top of that, with then having the other life things in play, like at the time I was in a relationship,
right?
So that's obviously stretching you out in different kind of ways. I took a risk in certain areas of my life that kind of backfired on me, and it was just like, and then on top of that, I'm listening to other people like, yo, this is what you should do, this is what it is, and I'm like, damn, I don't want to lose the support I have now. It kind of at the time, it just kind of time started passing, and I just kind of went back into what I know, and that's really just like the homebody kind of creation mode that I'm used to.
Yeah, I feel like us as creatives, we kind of have this view, right, of like the music industry per se, or the scene, right? Right. We have a view of this scene, and we're like, man, we wanna get there, we wanna do that, and then when we get there, we create this, we make all this music, we make all these things, and then we get there, and it's a whole bunch of like behind the scenes shit that you have to deal with,
right? Whether
it be like the business aspect, or it be just like the logistics aspects, or just like the networking aspect. Right. And at times, at least from my experience talking to artists, that's like a huge turnoff, because when you're creating, whether it's music or whether it's videos or content, it's like a certain freedom to it, right? Right. Yeah. But then when you come across like the other shit that comes into play with it, it's kind of restricting in a way.
Right. It just it's just like certain things now that you have to take into consideration.
Right.
So like that, you know, I started playing like, and just like, just things like that, man. I'm just like, man, okay, yeah, I'm trying to make my next move my best move.
Right.
I'm trying to make, I'm trying to grow a label. I'm trying to be, you know, cause let's just like my music, it was different. It's different, which I love, and it did well, and I gained like a lot of fandom and support from it. But at the same time, I had just other people in my ear like, yo, you may have to
get a radio signal.
You might have to take it this way. Like when I was creating my first album, and it was me and Ashton just in there, like with no expectation of anything, literally, like no expectation of anything. We just made the album and put it out. So this time around, I'm creating and I'm thinking of things in my mind that like is bogging my creativity, and like bother me, and certain things are feeling forced. So at this era of time, this is like fresh up. I have to I had to sit with this. I had to deal with this.
Right.
At that time, that was just like, you know, I'm going through that at first. That was like that first period of like, okay, this is new. Like I just dropped an album. I never dropped an album before. You're on your sophomore. You know they say that sophomore slump. You know what I'm saying? And like I look at the scene of like where we're at, South Florida, just all scenes. We're all doing things that these major mainstream artists are doing, just on a way smaller scale.
Yeah.
It's like literally the same thing though. Like it's like, I don't care if it was 10 people or 10,000 people, and what I'm saying is like you drop something, especially if it's new, you create a sound, you create a buzz. So we kind of dropped something, and you know, we all just kind of like, okay, shit, like new shit started happening. So like I say that to say like, yeah, like I just had mad, you know, I just lost a little bit of inspiration, and I mean, I kind of second guessing. I definitely lost myself. In a lot of ways.
So you dropped this project. You got a bunch of people in your ear. You got all this extra attention that you didn't have before. Right. So you're dealing with all this, or you got all this on your plate, but you also have a real life. Like you said, you're in a relationship. And sometimes, you know, at least from my experiences, like I'm in this creative field, but my girlfriend's not in this creative field, so she doesn't really understand it. She just sees me like mingling with people. She sees all this attention that I'm getting, and it's a relationship, so she's gonna feel some kind of way. And she doesn't really understand. Trust me, I've dealt with it. So like they don't get it, and it's hard for you to explain it. And it creates all these issues. So now you're dealing with the issues at home, and now you're dealing with these issues on the scene. And it sometimes can get a little bit much. Nah,
for sure, and definitely can attest to that.
You mentioned also taking a huge risk. What kind of risks were involved that kind of set you back a little bit?
All right, so like you picture this. It's like, you're in like basically like I come off a show that we threw on for the first year anniversary of my album. We do it at this nice, super nice venue. People come out. It's a great show. The production is great, lights, and it's awesome. And it's like I'm feeling like I'm at the top, not of my like peak. Like I'm higher than I've ever been right now. Like I'm like, damn, this could actually go down. Like this could actually happen. So, you got all that going on. It's like, man, like. I'm still working a 9 to 5. Like I'm still going to work. So I'm like, you know what? I got some money saved up. I could take, this music. You know what I'm saying? This music, this
take it serious.
This just going. It's going like, I'm gonna quit my job.
Right.
I'm gonna quit my job and I'm going full force with the music. And then at the time, like I'm in a relationship and I had this support. So I'm like like the verbal support of somebody. So I'm like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, you should do this, you gotta do this.
Right.
And all my homies, everybody's like, yeah, bro, like, I'm feeling like, yo, this could happen. So I did it. I ended up taking a risk and quitting my job.
Did you put like a Facebook announcement like, yo, this is the day when I quit my job?
Nah.
I've seen people do that.
But I was very very confident though. Like at the time, like I was like saying, posts like, yo, I ain't gonna be working and shit, like, what I'm saying? So like basically it was just more like I'm thinking like I'm being naive to the game in a sense, about like still at this time everything that I was doing was organically, but I wasn't so business minded.
Right.
So I was seeing results and I was seeing, come up, but I wasn't monetizing at all, except from album sales and streams from from DistroKid, where I got the album from, and that's obviously they really, you got to do a lot.
It's really not what people think it is.
So I'm like, I'm not thinking logically as a businessman at this point, and being an owner of this label, having now other people, having grown the village now at this point, I'm not thinking like okay, let me make this move and sacrifice this right now so that we'll be straight for this. I'm just thinking completely off impulse. Like, yo, I just came off a show. Like, I got people fucking with this, like this going down Atlanta. I said, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
And just so happens that time started going by.
Shit started getting real.
Yeah, shit started getting real. Fun started getting low. Life, relationships started getting stressful.
Yeah.
And it just kind of took a toll on me, man. I ended up just kind of like having to focus full throttle on life instead of actual music. On top of what we talked about earlier, having people on the ear like, yo, you should do this, you need to do this. Everything was always was so organically genuine to me that like I got in my feelings with other things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like I couldn't even focus on like writing another album.
Wow.
I had to just kind of live at that moment, and I just kind of went back into my shell, bro. I kind of just like stopped being so out there, stopped releasing music. But I was working on music though, for sure. I was working on music. I was producing my second album.
Yeah, you went back to your comfort zone.
Yeah, and just trying, but days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and next thing you know, it's like half a year in, and you're just kind of like still trying to figure out and continue to find yourself. And I just feel like that's where it went for me in that time span. For sure.
Man, that's interesting, because I feel like as creatives, right? And I went through it too. We all have this dream. We all have this dream of like, yo, one day I'm gonna stop working for the man and I'm gonna just create and I'm gonna just live off my art, and I'm gonna just it's gonna be sweet. So we all dream. We all have that dream. Some of us actually execute. We take that risk.
Right.
And it's like, man, when shit gets real, a lot of your demons start to come back, right? So you start to question.
And like that doubt comes in.
Exactly.
And that insecurity comes in.
Right.
And it's like, you love this, but it's like, am I getting the proper investment back that I'm investing into this?
Right.
Starts to kick in, and then that, it starts to shake, man. That confidence starts to shake.
Especially when you get older. Like,
right.
It's different doing it as like an 18-year-old. When you get in like your mid-20s, and then like you have like peers that, this is what I see, like I got peers that I went to school with who's like, they've graduated like college and they're in their career and shit like that. And like, they got a family, and I'm like, yo, I'm still like, trying to figure it out. So that's when a lot of the doubt kicks in. And then again, if you take that risk and it doesn't really pan out how you thought it was gonna pan out,
that's a huge blow to it's just a huge blow to the mental, to the ego.
Yeah.
And in general, man, I would just definitely say in like that in that year, in this year that I have just been absent, a lot of music has been made, a lot of music has been scrapped, a lot of music has been made, a lot of feelings have been felt.
right?
But yeah, it's just one of those things, bro, where you just sometimes like there have been time periods where like I just didn't know, bro. Like in fact, I just didn't know. Like
that's real.
I just didn't know, I didn't know if I loved this, but didn't know if I was cut out to do this, to do it, do it like this, So it was a tough time, and it's still always like it's not an everyday struggle, but I feel like I'm on the other side of that.
Because now you see it for what it is. You still have that belief and that dream of what it can be, but you see like, yo, if I'm gonna make it there, this has to be right.
Right. And it's a different kind of confidence when you get over a mountain, dog, that you have. Like, it's a different, seriously though, like, it's a different type. Like I had never been through some of the things, some of the mental things I was going through, some of the situations I'd never been through this in my life. I mean, I've been through struggle, but like this was just a different kind of mental, emotional attack on me.
Right.
So, it was just like, it's a different feeling when you get through that. Now looking back at it, I'm just like, I feel like a better artist, a better man, a wiser man. Like it's just one of those. Like
I had a question about that though. Like, so when you were going through all these emotions and you were going through all these situations, you were still making music, or
no? Yeah, for sure. I was definitely still making music.
How did all this affect your music? Like did it change your sound in a way?
It changed the tone. Like it's funny. Like it definitely changed the sound, but sound in the sense of like it changed the vibe.
Okay.
Of like where I was. Like I said, I love moments in music.
Mm-hmm.
So like my last album was a moment that I could never recreate again because it was a moment. This time period of my life now, climbing that mountain, coming back is a moment. So the music, yes, and where it's gonna be different, but really what, yeah.
No, what I mean more so is like, if you were making music when you were like at your lowest, right? Was that different? Like, was the music there different? Like,
okay, I tried.
Or you just weren't making music?
No, I tried. If you're asking, like, I tried not to make melancholic ass music. I tried not to. Yeah, I tried not. It was hard. Like, a lot to be dark because I had a I guess we'll get into it later. But I had there was a time where I had a mode and a mood for that music, and I'm making it, and it wasn't making me any happier. The music was good, but I'm just like, this is not what I want to
put out,
make,
right.
Because I'm not this is just a time right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not this is not what I want. At the end of the day, I'm still at the bottom and at the forefront of my career, and I'm like, what I want this to be the first time, this content, this what I'm talking about, and these lyrics to be the first time that they're hearing NumbYouNov. What I want this mood.
Right.
So yeah, for a little minute, like I did kind of didn't take a break off making music, but I allowed myself to kind of get into a better space mentally before I started really getting to the, the grit of like a new feeling, in a new mode.
So what finally got you out of that? What finally got you out of that dark place? Was it like one situation where you just snapped out of it, or was it like a continuously process that you just?
It was a continued process for sure. It was like. And the situation of just being in the dark, it's nothing like, it's just more of like a sitting with prior decisions and feeling them now. It was like literally sitting with decisions that I made, not just so short term, but long term, like decisions that I had made in my younger days that have finally kind of felt like caught up to me now at 2025. So, So it was just a continuous, like, I was reading a lot. I read a lot of, so I was reading a lot.
Boy, when you broke in the press, you sure read a lot. Cause I was reading a lot too, bro. When I was like going through it, I was reading like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
I was reading books after book.
I was searching for that tranquility, that balance. I'd come from a place where I was like, eating very well, and then I just had to get myself back. I just had to get myself back into like balance, dog. It was just like it was just a mode, bro. It was just a moment. Bro, I'm an emotional motherfucker, bro, and I'm sorry, like, for the language, man. But I am an emotional person, and it's not like I will show it upon people, and you will know it because I'm very I am quiet, especially if you meet me at first.
Introverted, yeah.
But I feel a lot, like I feel a lot, bro. So like, if something hits me the wrong way, or like, I'm a crazy overthinker, dog. You know what I'm saying? I think very deeply about things. So I just let like demons that demons that I had never faced before. Literally, I'd never faced these demons. Like, all of a sudden here at 25, like, I'm facing now.
Yeah.
And like, you feel me? Like, I'm like, and this is vulnerable. Like, I'm just you know, it's tough. Like, it was just a tough time, bro. Just, it was just one of those times, man. And how I got out of it, bro, was just literally discipline, making new music, continuing to. I mean, I started working with other artists. I started working with other local singers, female singers, and getting my mind off, like, you know, what was going on in my life and the lack thereof of certain things, like finances and stuff like that. People like, you know, just kind of getting into that mode and having like a direct, like, okay, like I want to make this like a mood again, like into another project, somebody else's project. I'm just like kind of a minuscule part of it. It's like, you know, that kind of helped me out too.
So you're going through this process of rediscovering yourself, and you're getting back on your feet, and you're getting right mentally. So when was that? When did you find this out? Like, okay, now I'm ready to not only make music, but to jump back on the scene, put music out, and
right. Like, so in the midst of like all that kind of going on, I ended up like, I was like, yo, I gotta take a trip. I gotta get out of here, clear my mind. So I ended up going. My sister lives in Atlanta, so I ended up going up there for a whole week, clear my mind, like everything. You know what I'm saying? And I get back, so everything's cool up there. I'm kind of just drifting and vibing and getting a new feel, new place, new space. And so I get back down here to, like, I had been making music all the way up until that point, but to be honest, like, all that music is still there, but it got scrapped. Like, I came back down here to Florida. Florida had this real, it had been raining, like, so it had this real tropical hue to it. It was happy. I came back happy. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, damn, like, I'm feeling this, so I'm going for walks and shit. Really? So I'm going for walks and shit, and I started just honing in on this feeling, on this idea. And then, like, in like the first like week back, I bang out like 5 new demos. Man. Of like, you know, fire shit, like just great music. And I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm feeling myself again. I'm back. Like, I felt like I feel like I'm on the other side of that mountain. Like, the music is synonymous to, like, you know, how I'm feeling now and how I normally feel and portray myself. Right, and like feeling down and melancholic and introverted. You know what I'm saying? So it was really coming back in Florida. That's when I came back, I really got like a better appreciation for the city, which sounds crazy. I got back and I'm just like, man, like, you know, I love it here. Like, I love it.
How long were you in Atlanta for?
About like a week and a half.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you was there for like 3 months.
No. It's like it. No, hell no. I was there for about a week and a half, but that week and a half felt long too at the same time. But I just got there and was like, man, I can't wait to, like, as I'm getting more, you know, getting my thoughts clear, and I'm just like finding myself more and more, and re-finding myself. I felt like I ended up getting the job. That, like, things just ended up.
Everything was clicking.
Everything clicked.
Yeah.
So.
No, I could definitely do a lot for your spirit, man. Like, especially, trust me, bro. Trust me. Like, where I'm at now, like the you know, like, I had to fight for the position that I got now. It's like, cause like I said, bro, I was going through it, and then I finally got into where I'm at now, and it was like I was happy as fuck. Like, everything was clicking, and I had like this whole new outlook. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna start praying every day. Thank God for this new Affirmations. My jaw don't do it. I fucking stopped doing that shit. But, you know, my heart is still there.
That's another thing too. But like, gotta obviously continue to do what got you there. But like, yeah, like saying, I was like affirmations. I was reading. I came back. It's like super tropical here. It's like, because it was mad gloomy up there too. When I went up there, it was like super gloomy up there. It was a great, like, I love Atlanta. I love the city. But getting back here just did something for me, you know. So I just started banging out like this whole tropical, melodic feel to this new, to this project, and that's just kind of where it went, you know.
So this new project that you're gonna put out, it's more on that.
It's definitely more on that vibe. Like, so on this new project, like, it's definitely a different feel. Like, if you are like a past supporter of NOV in the village and NumbYouNov's music, like, you're definitely gonna get a different side now. It's not gonna be if you are looking for self-Nov in this project, like you're not gonna get that.
You don't feel like it's too early, being that the last one was your first public release. This is gonna be arguably like your second public release, right? Second or third. So do you feel like it's too early to switch up the sound that much, or do you feel like?
No, I don't. Just the thing is, it's like I don't really have the choice too, man. This is just like what I feel.
Right.
And that's cliche, man, but it's just real. Like and that's early though. That like what we were talking about with people in my ear and what I should make. Like when I'm fresh off the project, that's what was getting into my ear, and that's what was getting into my mind, and that was fucking up my creativity. But on top of that, like, bro, like I've learned so much in this last, like you're gonna get a lot of that lyricism. I've learned so much in this last like year and a half since that project dropped, that like you're gonna get like just from a business aspect, a sonic aspect, technical aspects, like just us as the village, me as an artist, as a human, I just grew. I've grown. Like I'm not the same when I'm 23 or 25, and that's a blessing to say that I can actually see the growth. So you're gonna actually see the growth in this project. But you know, I'm a fan of like I'm switching it up, man. I've always been a fan. Like I don't want to make it easy for anybody. And I can't even make another album. I can't make a second album twice. Like I can't even do it before. So
Different point in time, different mind state, different feelings.
Right, man. It's like, I just can't. I can't go back. Like, but I'm still like, I'm still me. Like, you're still gonna get like that. I feel like what like about my music and about my creation, it's just like I would like you to fall in love and like the rawness, the vulnerability, and the genuineness in the sound and in the music. And I think like I'm gonna ooze that out with any project that I do personally, because that's just how I want to make music and create content and things. So it's still gonna be innovative, still gonna be what it is, but it's just not gonna be the same project.
Is there anything now that you're gonna do different that you did before, or?
Man, like definitely. And if
no, I was gonna say, or what are you gonna like? Was what you did before? Did it work for you? Like, all right.
I'm gonna take a lot of the things that I did before, because a lot of it at that time was, well, first and foremost, like it's crazy to talk. I mean, we're not going back to like saying like what we do right now as a local artist and as whatever, it's still the same thing, just on a smaller scale. So from when I first dropped Self and my album to now, like things are different too. Like there's some shit, but like, so it's a different kind of scene, like too, at the same time. But I've learned so much in like from these 2 years from people. I've been in places where I'd never thought about being, and I know it was just the tip of the iceberg. I know there's way more ground to cover, but just seeing the way certain people move, being around actual industry people, like heavy hitters, Grammy Award winners, and seeing how they work, and just being behind the scenes and just kind of waiting my turn. I'm definitely gonna do things a lot different, business wise. But there's a way in which I want to attack this in a way more innovative way, in a way more creative way than before in the marketing aspect of things. Like I want to switch up the way us as artists get paid and look at how we got to distribute our music. Okay. So this is going to be a whole, like I'm going to do something different than the way I released my first project for sure.
All right, man. Well, look, I'm definitely excited to hear this new project. I definitely want to, especially now hearing about like the tropical, more like, the other vibes as opposed to your first, because self was good, but Self was like, it was like a more slower, darker tone, right? Slower, darker.
It was definitely slow and dark. I joke with me, Aston joke all the time, like, because Aston Martin, I don't know if I said that enough. Aston Martin produced that project, hands down. Obviously that's home team, but hands down the best producer in South Florida. Let me not even say that. That's the homie. Like but I mean, hands down, he produced that whole album. We got into a mode. I wrote the whole album, and he we always joke that he made like happy dark music. So like Self has a happy.
I can see that, bro. I can definitely see that with the project.
He had a happy song.
Self is definitely happy dark music.
So it was but this next album was definitely gonna be more tropical, more Miami. Like I got really inspired by Miami. Like I like and just the tropical feel of it. Like I would take walks, drive around. So it's gonna be there's a house or like a dance EDM influence on this album too.
Okay.
So it's gonna be a switch up. I can't wait to see like how people take to this. But I always say, man, like I'm not when I'm ready to put it out, I'm just gonna put it out. I see too many artists hold projects, wondering. It's like nah, like I'm just gonna do the same thing in terms of like readiness I did with my last project, man. I'm just gonna put it out and this is me. And if it draws that attention, it draws. And if not, it's back to the drawing board and making music, another album, another project.
All right, brother. It's been a good conversation.
For sure.
Thank you for tuning in.
I appreciate it, man.
We out of here.
Word.